Welcome to the Talza Zoza story. On a quiet, dusty road between fields, a strong but humble donkey pulled a wooden cart filled with vegetables and sacks of grain. Every morning before sunrise, the farmer would gently tie the cart behind him, and together they would head toward the village market. The journey was long and tiring, but the donkey did his work without complaint. He believed his effort had purpose. One afternoon, as the sun burned high in the sky, a crow perched on a nearby tree branch and watched the donkey pass by. After a moment, the crow let out a harsh laugh. "Look at you!" the crow called out. "Day after day, dragging that heavy cart. You're slow, covered in dust, and good for nothing." The donkey slowed down, surprised. No one had ever spoken to him like that before. "I'm not useless," the donkey replied calmly. "I help carry food to the village. Without me, the cart wouldn't move." The crow chuckled louder. "That's what you're proud of. You look tired and weak. I've seen smaller animals move with more grace than you." The words stung, but the donkey shook his head and continued walking. The next day, the crow returned. This time, it sat on a fence post, waiting. "There he is again," the crow sneered. "Still dragging that cart like a machine. Can't you move any faster?" The donkey felt uneasy. Maybe he did look slow, so he tried to walk quicker, lifting his legs higher and pulling harder. But the crow only laughed again. "Now you just look ridiculous," it said. Day after day, the same thing happened. The crow kept mocking, and slowly, the donkey began to change. He stopped focusing on the road ahead and started listening for the crow instead. When the crow said, "You're weak," the donkey pulled harder. When it said, "You're slow," he forced himself to go faster. When it said, "You're worthless," he worked beyond his limits to prove otherwise. But no matter what he did, the crow never stopped. Soon, the donkey grew exhausted. He stopped resting properly. Even at night, the crow's words echoed in his mind. "I'll prove it tomorrow," he whispered to himself. On the 10th day, under the blazing sun, the donkey once again pulled the heavy cart along the road. Right on time, the crow appeared. "Well, if it isn't the slowest donkey around," the crow shouted. Something inside the donkey snapped. "I am not slow, eh? Kriet." With all his remaining strength, he began to run. The cart rattled violently behind him, vegetables bouncing, dust rising into the air. He ran faster and faster, ignoring the pain in his legs and the fire in his chest. "I am not worthless," he shouted again. But his body could not keep up with his anger. Within moments, his legs gave out, and he collapsed onto the road. The donkey had worked hard his entire life and endured heavy loads without breaking. But in the end, it wasn't the weight of the cart that defeated him. It was the weight of his anger. The crow, meanwhile, had already flown away searching for another animal, another target, another mind to disturb. Before you judge the donkey, pause for a moment. Because in life, there are always crows. People who mock your efforts. People who criticize your journey. Voices that try to make you doubt your worth. And every time you stop to respond, every time you lose peace over their words, every time you try to prove them wrong, you give them control over your path. The truth is simple. Takra didn't destroy the donkey. The donkey destroyed himself by listening.